today did not go all that well across the board. Trump was having a rough time. They have guaranteed that certain reporters cannot get into the White House briefing room and then, of course, into the Oval Office for asking questions. They've been punting people. Well, they can't stop people from coming into the Capitol. So when Trump goes over to the Capitol, which he needed to do, I guess, to fuck up the current bill, he had to whip votes, which is really embarrassing, on the big, beautiful bill, right? He came over there this morning to try and talk everybody into signing up for this bullshit. Walk out. Be a lot louder.
Mr. President, Andy Harris said he didn't convince enough people to vote for the bill.
Mr. President, Andy Harris said you didn't convince enough people to vote for the bill. And Mike Johnson's been snickering behind you the whole time.
He didn't adequately convince enough people to vote for the bill.
What was the expression you used now?
Were
you embarrassed?
No, it said Andy Harris said that you didn't adequately.
Yeah, he was. The reporter was embarrassed to ask you a question that's just too true.
Convince enough people to vote for the bill. The House Freedom Caucus.
You mean after this speech?
After this speech, that's what she said.
Well, what do we see after voters? I think it was a great talk. Wasn't
Was really a speech. It was a talk.
We talked about things. Who do you work for?
Notice.
Who?
Notice.
I don't even know what the hell that is. Get yourself a real name.
Get yourself a real name. So, real quick, I think some reporter from someplace that he understands, like I'm from CNN. Hey, I know you don't like us, but whenever we ask a question, everybody else hears your answer too. So answering it fully would be valuable even to the I guess the news organizations you do like. But also, what difference does it make who asks the question? You're the president, you're a public servant, you should have to answer it or at least be smart enough to actually deflect it.
Let me tell you, I think we have unbelievable unity. I think
you're right. Nobody believes you have unity.
We're going to get everything we want.
I think he was with Novus is what he said. But
I think we're going to have a great victory, and this man has done a great job. And I think this was a tremendous session. You may want to say something.
Yeah, it was a great.
Yeah, can you talk about this? Because I don't want to talk about this shit anymore. This is not what I want to be doing. I would rather be golfing.
Meeting. The party.
It's News of the U.S. Yeah.
Unified. The House Republican Conference is excited. Multiple standing ovations.
They were so excited when he came in that it set off my porn app.
They love this president. The people back home love what he's doing. It's historic, and everybody understands the scope and the meaning of this. If we do not accomplish this mission, every one of you, all the American people, are going to have the highest tax increase that you ever had. And
yeah, no, they aren't. Their taxes are going to go back to what they were. It's just going to be a reset to the previous tax rate. It'll go up from where it is now, but it's not going to go, past where it was before. If anything, you had a pause in your taxes for a decade or half a decade.
The debt ceiling cliff that's approaching and all the other problems, this is the bill to do it. I think we're going to get it done, Mr. President.
The Democrats want to raise your taxes. If this doesn't work,
Wait a minute. Sorry. If it doesn't work, you have the votes. At least in the House. It's the Senate you have a problem with because you don't necessarily have them there. But in theory, you should be able to pass this in the House as a reconciliation bill without anybody. You shouldn't need Democrats for this.
To get the numbers that the Republicans want, and I think it does. I think it's all Republican vote. The Democrats are going to be raising your taxes by 68%. And they will not do the, we're going to have an 85% cut in drug costs. 85% cut in drug costs.
No. That's not actually going to happen. Look at him. No.
The Democrats, the drug prices are going to go up.
Why don't you pass that by itself then? Why would you want to hold, if that's so important, why would you need that in the big beautiful bill? Why would you have to marshal votes with that? Why wouldn't you pass it if it's good for people and it's good for the country? Why don't you just pass that as a single bill by itself? I mean, if it's so important, why would you dare use it as leverage to get other stuff through, right? Wouldn't it be worth it to just sign an agreed upon bill by both sides?
Can't imagine a Democrat not voting for this. I think the Democrats, if they don't vote for it, that means they're voting for an increase in drug prices.
Well, no, technically, if you're trying to lower prices, they would just stay where they are. And if you don't introduce the bill by itself because they have issues with the rest of it, including blowing up the fucking debt, if you just pass it by itself, then pass it by itself. If you don't want to do that, that means you think the rest of the big giant bill is shit, so which it is.
Versus an 80 to an 85, maybe 75, but could be an 85% cut in drug costs. Okay.
Mr. President, will you need to reach out to individual members? Will you need to make a pitch to individual
I don't think
members?
so. No, that's what I did.
That's what I did here. I was whipping votes in the room for all the people that are in the room with me. And I convinced them to sign on the bill. And if the Freedom Caucus told me to go fuck myself after I leave, that are not really Republicans. They're rhinos.
That's really what we did today. I think it was a really great, that was a meeting of love. Let me tell you, that was love.
It was love.
There was no shouting. I think it was a meeting of love.
It was a meeting of love. It was. That's the look of love. We haven't seen a look like that since Mike Pence was sniffing Trump's farts, going, what is that smell? Is that the kidney?
What the fuck?
You are watching house of worldwide. Got your arms for the ride. Every day has you by your side. So please, would you like to subscribe?
The kidney has a very special place in the heart.
Jesus, what was that all about? Sorry, where were you?
The things that we talked about specifically where some people felt a little bit one way or the other, not a big deal. And I covered them. It wasn't so much a speech. I covered certain points.
Wasn't a speech. I covered certain points, and then I talked about the paintings on the wall, and then I talked about how short Mike is, because he's fucking short. He's short. Look at him. He's short. That's funny to me. And also, I complained about my asshole because I had to go to the doctor about my asshole. And what else did I do? I said, Mike, pull my finger. They love that. It wasn't so much. That was more of a speech.
I think I'd be very surprised.
You told him you were losing patience. Are you losing patience?
No, I didn't tell him. Who told you I said I'm losing
That's what we heard inside the room. You
But
said you
that's a
didn't
lie.
say
Wait a
you were
minute.
losing patience.
Who's told you that?
What we heard from people inside the room.
Oh,
That's
really?
the message.
Totally true. I never used the term. I didn't say losing. I didn't even talk about it. In fact, it's the opposite. I think we're going to get it done. I'm not losing patience. We're ahead of schedule. Anybody that told you that is a liar.
That's right. They're lying. I am not losing patience. Do I look like somebody who's losing their fucking patience? That I had to come down here and do this asshole's job? I mean, it's love. Exciting and new. Come aboard.
Wait a minute. I never mentioned the word losing patience because I'm not losing patience.
That's more than one word, but okay.
Ahead of
That's
schedule.
why I asked you. I want to get
Well,
clarity.
why don't you go back to your source and tell them they're liars if the source even exists?
They probably don't, but they're probably Chip Roy.
Bill passes the House.
Yeah.
Senators are already talking about making a number of changes. over
Sure.
their chamber.
Always
Is
have.
that okay? Or
Yeah.
do you want them to swallow
Yeah,
this bill?
in some cases they have things that I like even better. No, it always happens.
Jesus Christ. You can't. Hey, asshole. You're just cutting him to pieces right now. You just gave everybody who doesn't want to vote for this fucking thing permission to tell this asshole to cut it into multiple pieces. You can't tell them, like, we got to pass this big, beautiful bill, and I'm ready for it, and I'm not losing my patience at all, but you got to get it fucking done, and then send it up to the Senate, and they'll just chop the shit out of it, send it back down, and make this motherfucker try to pass 4 bills.
There'll be some changes.
Mr. President.
John Thune.
There'll be some changes. It's just great watching him stand there. It's like Robin Williams' worst character ever. Like the saddest, like, acting experience of his life would be this character.
Mike have been very closely aligned on this. They've been.
Oh, well, every time, my porn app going off, penis. All right.
Moving it up together.
Mr. President, apparently you said don't F with Medicaid. Apparently you did say in the room. There is some concern among some.
Yeah, so the headline was, "Don't F with Medicaid." The problem is, people didn't know if he meant don't fuck with Medicaid at all, or don't fuck with the cuts we're making with Medicaid, or leave it as it is the way we're doing it in the bill and don't add more stuff to it, or take out the stuff that's in the bill that fucks Medicaid that nobody knows, and so everybody got to take away whatever the fuck they wanted from it.
Republicans, including Senator Josh Hawley, that this could impact benefits and that could be amount to what hidden tax on the.
Yeah, fucking Hawley, when he's talking about this shit, sounds like fucking Elizabeth Warren. It's glorious. But it's love.
Here's what I said.
I'm wondering if you're.
Here's what I said. You want to hear what I said?
Those members who
Yes, we want to hear what you said, Gropey.
are below that.
Waste,
supporting this bill.
fraud, and abuse for Medicaid. If you find waste or fraud or abuse, we want to strengthen Medicaid. We want to strengthen Medicare.
Well, yeah, the problem is there's not enough waste, fraud, and abuse to cut the program. There's not enough of that. You think it's somehow half. This is why Elon Musk has beat feet. Stupid.
Waste, fraud, and abuse. The Democrats will let illegals be on. They'll destroy it. It will be destroyed. They want to have illegal immigrants be on. And if you
Yeah, that's been a story for quite some time, I think. Hold on. What was it? This guy right here? Yeah.
Free health care for illegal. Look.
Yeah, that's been a story for a long time.
that, because that's not, it wasn't designed for that. Waste, fraud, and abuse.
Can you guarantee that?
Yeah, there's not enough waste, fraud, and abuse to change the debt or the deficit.
Your voters who supported you in the election, particularly working class voters, will not lose health insurance under this bill?
Oh, they won't lose health insurance. Not only that, remember, I'm cutting drug prices by 85%. And right now, I'm saving it. I'm saving the whole thing because I did something that nobody was willing to do. Other countries pay a tiny fraction what we do. And I instituted favored nations. We're now going to pay the lowest in the world. We're going to be the equivalent of...
Look at this. Not so much.
Lowest country in the world. People go to London, they go to Canada, they go to other countries, many other countries.
Mexico is the one he doesn't want to mention.
Because they want to buy their pharmaceutical products, their drugs, at a fraction of the cost. Now we're going to have the lowest cost anywhere in the world, and nobody else would do that but me. And that might be an election by itself, might be election winning. Now, when you add that in, when you put that into Medicaid and Medicare, we've just strengthened Medicare and Medicaid. And the Democrats won't do that. You know why? Because they're taken care of by the drug companies. And the ones that are taken care of are hard line. Some Republicans get money from drug companies.
Ouch! The ones that are taken care of hard line.
And that's okay, because they're okay with it. I talked about it. The drug companies take care of everybody. It's the biggest lobby, most powerful lobby in the world. There's no lobby like that. But the Republicans are okay with it. Not only okay with it, they love it. It was...
Which part, the lobbying or?
So we're going to cut drug prices from 75 to 85, in some cases even more than that. You know, I was telling the story that, and some of you were at that news conference. I gave a news
Oh, he's going to talk about the fat guy with the fat shot that's not working.
conference where I was the first one in 18 years to cut drug costs for the year. And they were like a quarter of a point to half a point less. And I was very proud of that. Now I'm cutting them by 80, 85% because I stopped the scam. This was a scam between the middlemen and the drug companies. This was a giant scam.
Right. Yeah. All bullshit, by the way. Just
By the
100%
way, and
bullshit.
other countries, because other countries fought for this. This was a giant scam, and we're not going to have it. So remember this. Go back and tell your people, if you'd like to, that
If you like to, if you want to say anything, if you don't want to say anything, some people don't like their kids.
the Republican Party is cutting the cost of drugs by as much as 85%, not 80%.
All right, why don't you put that bill out by itself? I'm sure it would pass immediately.
Not 5%, not 1%, 85%. And you're going to have the lowest drug prices anywhere in the world because I'm doing favored nations. And it's all done. I signed it. And the Democrats will
No, it isn't all done. It's an executive order. It has no legal or it certainly, you couldn't just like violate the Commerce Clause with an executive order, dummy.
and the drug prices are going to go up. And I think on that issue alone, you can't lose an election.
Mr. President, say that your DOJ is weaponizing with the arrest of a congresswoman, Democratic
Oh,
congresswoman.
give me a break. Did you see her? She was out of control.
Did you address
You know,
that?
those days are over.
Did
The
you
days
tell them
of
to do
woke.
that?
The days of woke. No, I didn't. The days of woke are over. That woman,
The days of woke are over.
I have no idea who she is. That woman was out of control. She was shoving federal agents. She was out of control. The days of that crap are over in this country. We're going to have law and order.
Mr. President, thank you very much.
Law and order. Yep, we're gonna cut our grass. We're gonna get Four Seasons Total Landscaping coming out.
Campaign on lowering the price of groceries. How can you justify cutting food assistance in this bill?
Let me just tell you, the cut is going to give everybody much more food because prices are
That's right. Yeah, we're cutting food aid to get more food to people.
going way down. Groceries are down. Eggs. You told me about eggs. You asked me a question about eggs my first week. You said eggs. I said, I just got here. Tell me about eggs. And it was going through the roof. You know that eggs now are way down. Everybody's buying eggs. Groceries down. Energy's down.
Also, eggs are because of bird flu, and there's cyclically there are ways you handle that. They cull a bunch of birds, and then eventually the birds like grow. They grow up. They have more chicks, and then the chicks grow up and to reach the point where they can lay eggs, and then you start producing again. And it takes a little while for it to roll back in. This has happened a bunch of times, but all the other groceries are way up, and inflation's like 2.8% right now.
Gasoline.
Even with gas going down, and gas isn't going down anywhere near what he's saying. I think the lowest is 266, and the median's around 315 or something.
Is now they're buying gasoline now for $1.99.
No, they are not.
If you look back, you'll see $3.50, $4. This country, we're going to lose this country. Our country now is respected all over the world. All over the world, we're respected.
Yeah, are they respecting us because we're cutting food aid?
We were a laughing stock. The entire world we were a laughing stock. I went to the Middle East, and those
You did? When was this?
rulers of those three countries are very powerful people, very big people, very rich people.
Very rich people, oh, which is the big part. Yeah, say that again, asshole. Well, watch his reaction to the rich part. They don't have food aid for their fucking people.
And those rulers of those three countries are very powerful people, very big people, very rich people. They respect our country again. China was
Because our country isn't telling them to not push people out of helicopters or off rooftops or set fire to them or throw them into a chipper shredder.
going to take them over. You know, China was going to get they were going to get into the, if you look, Saudi Arabia, you take a little look what was happening with Qatar.
Yeah, take a little look. Take a little look. Take a little look at Saudi Arabia.
Great people, unbelievable leaders, but they were abandoned by this country. And they're not going to China anymore. They love us, we love them. We're going to take care of them, and they're going to take care of us. We came back with $5.1 trillion. Trillion. Every other
No, you didn't. Well, was it in small unmarked bills or crypto?
president would have come back having spent $5.1 trillion as usual. And
No, we didn't usually spend money when we went on those trips.
this, we were losing $5 billion a day under the past administration. I have to be a little careful the way I talk. because there's a lot of anger about that administration.
No, not really. I mean, they're angry that it's not still here,
And
sure.
by the way, the real question, who ran the auto pen? Okay, who ran the auto pen?
Biden said, yeah, do that and use the, you want to use the auto pen? Yeah, use the auto pen. Went like that. The question is, who ran the auto pen on the Jan 6 pardons?
Because the things that were signed illegally, in my opinion. I think we've just proved that. But our country...
Well, you haven't, though, because Biden hasn't said anything like, I wish we hadn't passed this or put out this executive order or whatever.
Respected again. All over the world we're respected. We were laughed at 7 months ago. Then you had November 5th, and our country is respected again. Thank you.
You didn't like that at all. Enjoy that, kids, because he's fucking miserable. This is not how these things are supposed to go. And he's like, ugh. So good. All right, there was also, he did another, was this the same gaggle? Sorry, 1 second. Hold on, this one. I think this is on his way in or before, I forget. Let's see. Yeah, I think this was like on his way in to talk to me.
Mr. President, what was your message to lawmakers?
We just had a great... It was really a meeting of unity. We had tremendous unity.
Oh, maybe the other one was before it. Whatever. Maybe, or is this just at another end of another hallway?
There's a lot of love in the room, and I think we're going to have...
A lot of love tonight, because you got to have love. Exciting and new. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you. Give it up for the boys in the band tonight. Boop-a-doo-doo. We got love. People, I kid. Is this your wife? What was it, a bus? I kid. We need love. We haven't got love today. Kids and... Let me tell you something. We have a lounge singer in chief.
Victory.
Mr. President, will you impose new sanctions?
Wait, it was a great victory?
We just had a great... It was really a meeting of unity. We had tremendous unity. There's a lot of love in the room, and I think we're going to have a big victory.
Mr. President, will you
I think we're going to have a big victory.
impose new...
How could you have a big victory if you have to pass something along a party line vote and you're having trouble doing it? Like, just getting your own party to vote for it shouldn't be a big victory. That should be the easy part, right? No shots on your own goal? It's not a candy cigarette, it's a prop cigarette. It's the kind you use in a high school play. I've had this cigarette since high school. Literally. It used to have, I think, yeah, it used to have a little bit of powder in it that if you blew on it, it looked like it would puff or whatever. But it's one of those things where it's meant to like catch the stage light, so it looks like you're smoking. Yeah, there you go. Oh, I'm sorry about that. I didn't really hit the like, everybody. Share the show, will you? Let everybody know. Let all the maggots know this is the place to come if you want to stare at Trump's nunt.
I think anybody that didn't support it as a Republican, I would consider to be a fool. It's a great bill. It's
Really? Like who? Who do you... Okay, so some of them don't. So you consider those people to be a fool. So name some names.
a bill for America, more importantly.
Mr. President, will you impose new sanctions on Russia?
What involved are you
Please
going
forward
to
the
be in
negotiations
terms
with
of whipping
Ukraine.
up the vote? Are you going to be calling them?
I think we're in good shape. I don't know, I can't tell you that, but this was a meeting of love. There's great unity in that room, and it's the biggest tax.
Why are you out of breath from walking across? Is this the most walking he's done? Should we get him a golf cart?
In American history, and if it doesn't pass, everybody's going to get a 68% tax increase. I don't know how you beat that. Also, one other thing, you're going to get an 85% reduction in drugs. 85% reduction, not 1/4%.
Also, I think you should probably say pharmaceutical drugs and costs. Yeah. Oh, my like button stopped working? I don't know. Try it again.
Increase. The Democrats, you're going to pay 25% more for drugs. With me, because
Why? Wait. If you're understanding that you're gonna do something and it's gonna cut the price of drugs, why is, if you do nothing, it doesn't stay where it is? Why in the fuck would Democrats want it to go up 25%? Where's that from? Oh, right. Sorry, he's fucking bananas.
I've instituted favored nations. The people of America, and it's about time, going to get an 85%
Yeah, he's huffing and puffing. And all they did was walk down one hallway.
reduction. They're going to be paying the lowest price in the world.
How important is this for your agenda? You've been able to
Yeah. Yeah. The Adderall's wearing
lot
off.
through executive action. How important is it to have this piece of legislation for
God damn. What is that? Is it just me, guys? The chat room. That's fucked up. Like, does he need like an inhaler or something? Holy shit. Circling the drain, that's the theory. Long COVID, maybe so, yeah. Yeah, he's definitely huffing and puffing. I just want to make sure it's not just me. So fucking weird. Like, watch this, look at him again when he's talking about this stuff.
They're going to be paying the lowest price in the world.
How important is this for your agenda? You've been able to do a lot through executive action. How important is it to have this piece of legislation?
Jesus Christ, what a freeze frame. Ah! Yikes. Sorry about that, folks. Oi, that's fucking horrible. Yikes. If I was Melania, I wouldn't sleep either.
Your agenda and your legacy.
It's very important. It's important for the country. It's not important for me. It's important for the country. This is the greatest bill that will ever... I think it's the most important bill this country just about has ever done.
Really? Yeah, well, that's because you're against the Civil Rights Act. So, I can see how that would work. Yeah.
Of size and scope. That's why we call it the Great Big Beautiful Deal. I mean, it really is. The bill...
I thought you called it, yeah, the Great Big Beautiful Bill, right? It's the deal? So it's like a New Deal, but old and stupid?
I think it's going to be one of the most important. It's the biggest tax reduction in history, biggest regulation reduction in history.
And it's the biggest paper bag in history. I need the biggest paper bag in history.
Incredible for Medicaid, Medicare. The only thing, we're going to leave it exactly as it was, other than for obviously waste, fraud, and abuse. We're strengthening.
So it's not that big a deal. So we've already passed bills that deal with waste, fraud, and abuse in those things. So how's it going to address those things more than completely?
We're going to make these things even stronger. The Democrats are going to destroy Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security. And we're going to keep them, but even make them stronger.
Will you impose new sanctions on Russia?
How? What does that even mean? How are Democrats? I would love to hear this. Please tell us. Please expand on how Democrats are going to destroy Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security. Oh, go ahead. Dig the fuck in, dummy. Tell us all about it. All right.
Will you impose new sanctions on Russia like the EU is?
Well, we're looking at a lot of things, but we'll see. I had a very good talk yesterday with President Putin. We'll see how that comes out.
I'm still out of breath from it. I don't think I've ever come that hard.
They're talking right now. We'll see how.
Are you going to
Yeah, he's not doing well. This is some serious huffing and puffing. Is anybody else going to notice this? Has anybody talked about this? Have you seen anybody else on any of the shows covering this shit from this morning or any of the stuff? All he did was walk down one hallway from the place we saw him come out of the room to this other side of the building, and he's huffing and puffing like this. Have you seen anyone else bring this up besides yours truly? I don't think so. I think that's why we've earned at least 20 new subscribers. How about that? Can 20 people subscribe right now? Can you subscribe right now? Just do it. Because this has been working. As I've asked for very few subscribers specifically, people have been stepping up. So I appreciate it. These big abstract numbers you have a hard time with. But if we could get 20 subscribers right now, that'd be great. Even if it's just because here I am showing you stuff, the whole thing, not just clips, not little bits, not like play this clip, play this little clip, play this. The reason I show you the whole thing is because nobody can ever, if anybody ever accuses our side of lack of context, or we don't show the whole thing, or we're picking and choosing these things, you can go, nope, Hal Sparks shows the whole fucking thing. By hook or by crook, we get through this bullshit, and I show everything. And so you can not have, none of these fuckers can go, nobody shows what he really says. I'm showing all of it. So I'm taking a bullet for everybody else on our side of the aisle, right? Anybody else who covers the ship, they do these little snippets, and I show the whole thing so that anytime they're like, yeah, but that's just part of what he said. Like, okay, I showed you the whole fucking thing, dummy.
Say it.
What about Pope Leo? Why the Vatican, sir, for the negotiation? Why you suggested?
Why are you going to the Vatican for this thing, sir?
Oh, Pope Leo suggested it, and if he'd like to have the talks at the Vatican, I can't think of a better place. I like it. This is a pretty good place too, come to think.
Do you like these American?
We're not going to bring fucking Putin to the fucking Capitol to have peace talks, you weirdo.
But I think I like him. Yeah, I like the Pope, and I like the Pope's brother. You know, one of the Pope's brothers, actually both of them, but one in particular is a major MAGA fan. Did you know that? He lives in Florida. He's got MAGA, he's got Trump, and I look forward to getting...
Yeah, he's the one that's not pious, that's not religious, who's not a pope.
To the White House, I want to shake his hand. I want to give him a big hug. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you, Mr.
Do you think that you convinced enough Republicans today?
Mike Johnson saved him from walking down the big steps. Come this way. Fucking look at his head down, man. That's, I'm just saying, it's not exactly exuding machismo and confidence. I'm just saying, I've seen old pieces of asparagus from dinner 2 nights ago that have more turgidity, than, this situation. I'm just saying, if they have neck Viagra, you should, think about it. I wouldn't recommend it, I've already got a stiff neck.
How's Speaker Johnson doing?
Look at that. Just fucking head down. It's bad. That is the huffiest and puffiest I have seen him in ages. I went long tonight, and I appreciate you guys sticking with me. But again, this goes to, if I may, and I love you guys, appreciate it. Thank you. Hit that like, share the show, etc. All the stuff I'm supposed to say. Patreon, we got a show on Friday for our patrons, and on Friday night, 9:30, and the show is called Comedy is Never Clean, and then June 12th, I'm doing a Queer as Folk reunion for Pride in Los Angeles. 14th is Nerd Halen right here in Vegas at the Station Casino, the Sunset Station Casino, which is very exciting. I'm going to go by and check out their room, I think tomorrow night, and see what I can bring in as far as backfill, since it's in town. I'm going to see what I can bring as far as, see if they've got screens and I can create video for the walls and that kind of stuff. Yeah. So the 14th, and then 24th of June is the next Ultimate Jam Night after the one we just had. This will be later in the month. Thanks, Alvin. That was fun. The music, I don't know what to call it. I wouldn't call it a speech, more of a talk. But how, when you have time to run for president? In 2008. I mean, believe me, we'll get it kicked. We'll get it going. The hardest part I'm going to have is just getting all the signatures. That's the thing I've got to focus on. Leave the rest up to me. I don't feel like you need any money in the modern age like you used to raise your name and your face value and all that kind of stuff. And I've already got a little bit of a head start, so that'll help, right? What did I say? 2028. Yeah, sorry, 2028. This is what happens when I read and talk at the same time, because the chat is going by in my screen. So, but in that time, in 2028, thank you. I'll be running during that time. But the biggest part is getting, on the ballot everywhere. That's the only thing I'm really going to focus on. And as long as I can get, in the primaries, get on the ballot, I think we'll be able to, because there are people with 0% who've been able to make it to the debates and that kind of stuff. And I feel like if I chip away at that as a good guy candidate, who's clearly not looking, for a cabinet position, but will do the job, I think I bring something valuable. So there you go. Who's your running mate? I wouldn't make that kind of decision this early. I could announce it, but I don't feel like it. And I'll check and see if Bobcat is available, but I don't know if he's up for it. I'm kidding. Yes, Johnny Million. Johnny Million would never want to be VP. Although Dwayne Kennedy might be a good choice. I found out that my old buddy Dwayne Kennedy now works for CPTs on a show there every so often, and I was like, no fucking way. It's awesome. Anyways, Christopher Titus. I think he'd be a good. I was about to say DOJ, but I think Department of Defense. If Hegseth can do it, anybody can do it. Have Bobcat on? I'd love to. We'll see what we can do. Anyways, I'm going to let you guys go. Boston Brian. I think Boston Brian would be a good DNC head, if I was running things. Yeah. Right. That'd be good. Or he could be Department of Interior. I'm just saying. Talk about, making, like his a history of plumbing. He knows what real life is like as far as infrastructure. Yeah, there you go. All right, yeah, David Lee Roth. That's not a bad idea. Yeah, I think he'd be Secretary of Awesome. I think we got to have at least a Secretary of Awesome. Yeah, that wouldn't be too much to ask. All right, I'm gonna let you guys go. I gotta get the hell out of here. All right, so man, honest to God, I've been trying to keep the show in its normal time zone, for the 2 hours that it's on, and then I just keep talking, and you guys keep showing up, and I don't even know what the heck am I supposed to do? Good Lord. All right. Just trust me. It's going to be awesome. Hang in there. Like, subscribe, give a thumbs up, support the show. See you later. Look at that. The subscriptions are happening. People are subscribing. It's wonderful.